Hi, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Halloween is coming, and we have something fun for you today. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a little witch. She was a darling little witch. She loved fabric, and she had all kinds of fabric. But because of some odd circumstances, she became homeless and had no house to live in. And all she had with her, out in the cold, dark woods, was her fabric stash. And so she thought she would build herself a house with fabric. So she took a square. She dug in her box and she found this beautiful orange square that was just the right size. And she thought, well, fabric isn't going to be very strong. And since in her box she had a little heat and bond, she got a piece of that as well. She took the heat and bond and ironed it on the back of her fabric. So now she would have a sturdy house. But it didn't look very much like a house. So she thought she would make it look a little better. So she took her little house and she cut a roof in it. There, that looks a little more like a house, but as looking at it, she discovered she couldn't get in that house. So she thought she'd cut a little door. She remembered, right in the middle of making that door, that she had a very pointy hat. So she thought she better put a point in that door so that she could get in. There she goes. There's her door. But it seemed awfully dark in there. She thought she might need a window. So she cut a little window out. It was looking more and more like a very nice little witch house. Let's get that window. She wants the light. There we go. Let's clean up that window a little bit. There we go. So now she has a darling little house, but upon looking at it, she felt awfully lonely. To be all by herself, one little witch, in this big old house, what would she do? Just at that very moment, there was a little tug on the bottom of her dress, and she looked down, and there was a little ghost right in the woods, tugging on her dress. And he said, I would love to live with you in your little house. And she said, oh, that would be perfect. That would be the best Halloween ever. He said, I'd really like my own little door, though. She said, oh, no problem. So she cut him a door right next to hers. And when they got inside their house, this is what it looked like. A Halloween house! So if you gather up all your children, you can do this at church groups, you can do this for your children and your grandchildren, and if you have 2 or 3 people who are doing this with you at the same time, you can make this. Isn't that adorable? So instantly, just by telling a Halloween story, you're going to have a Halloween decoration. Now also, this little witch knew a wonderful little treat. If all this witch had was little tiny strips in her stash, she could still make a pumpkin. You can do this story with any kind of fabric that you want, any size. Just make it together to make about an 8.5-inch block. And I've ironed it on. When you iron on your heat and bond, you iron it bumpy side down. You peel that off and it leaves a shiny surface. And we have ironed those onto black squares like this. And because this is 8-inch and we've used the Bella Solid squares from Moda, and because this is an 8-inch block on a 10-inch square, when you put those together like this, it looks like you've already cased them. Can you see that? It looks like a sashing right in the center. So you put them together. See how that is? You sew the little seams down. We've got 3 different pumpkins here from 3 different people who were using the from 3 different people who were cutting their pumpkins out. And we made a darling little wall hanging. You can make a table runner. But you tell this to a little group and you're going to have more pumpkins than you know what to do with. So happy Halloween from Jenny at the Missouri Star Quilt Company.